I am back in motion. Let's see here. Just a second. All right. Okay, and how do I view this live stream? Hang on. Let me see here. Trying to figure out how I actually watch this. Okay, let me see here. Trying to figure out how I'm live. Actually watch this. Okay, let's see here. Trying to figure out how I'm live. Actually watch this. Okay, let's see here. I'm live. Actually watch this. Okay. I'm live. All right, I've posted in my relevant channels, and go ahead and comment if you are watching. All right, I've posted in my relevant channels. Let me tell some people who were on the stream a second ago. Go ahead and comment if you are watching. All right, I've posted in my relevant channels. Let me tell some people who were on the stream a second ago. Go ahead and comment if you are watching. All right. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, and all right. All right, so people are back again. And so where did we leave off? Okay, I got some hot dogs in my belly from dinner. And I am ready to stream. Yep, I posted it in the real-time VFX Discord. Hopefully we'll get some more viewers. Once again. All right. So we are on projectiles once again. And so now we've got some of our basic motion for what we were wanting to create. One of the additional things that we could do is, okay, it only seems to be coming from two positions at its stun point. Is there a way to change that around? All right, so let's break that down. It is only coming from one spawn point, which is right here. Okay, and the only reason it looks like it's different is just because of how the particles are changing, or how the particle system is spawning rather. So there's only one point that it's coming from, and there's just particles going out. There is a way to widen this area, if that's what you're talking about. Is that what you're talking about? You know, making the area that it spawns in random. Because if so, we can certainly do that, and we can make something to turn it on and off randomly, if we so choose. So if we go into our blueprint and we do spawn fireball, we can do add local offset, just like this. Then we can do say random float within range, or random vector. No, we'll just do random float within range, and we'll do -25, or just say -50 and +50, and then we will split the struct pin, throw this in there, Let's see, I linked something earlier that showed what I mean because I can't find any words to describe it. Yeah, if you link me on Discord, which I just messaged you on there, if you link me on Discord, we can all take a look at it on the stream and see what you're talking about and see if we can do that. But this right here should be what you're talking about. This is the only other way I can think of. Let's see, that didn't completely work. Okay, let's see. Here we go, here's what he's talking about. So you're talking about in a bigger area right here where my cursor is? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Yeah, from the top and the sides. Yep, that is not impossible. And so that's what this right here should accomplish. I'm going to edit my blueprint again to ensure. So we'll do negative 500 and positive 500. And we'll see if this right here adjusts the positions. Yeah, so see now we have random area that they're spawning from. And so we could certainly adjust that depending on our liking. And so we can see some's coming from down here, some's coming from up here. And of course we can come in here to this right here and we can make our spawn rate even higher. And so now we have projectiles coming from everywhere. And so it just kind of depends on what it is you're looking to do. So there are a couple of core principles. Let's see if we can go on ArtStation. I don't know what the copyright rules are for this, but I don't think that there are because we're doing it for educational purposes. And hang on, I'm just on my other screen right now, and I'll do VFX concept. And or what's her name? Sarah Carmody, I'm not sure. I think she has some really, really dope concepts. Let's see here. I'm looking for some projectiles. Might have been Rachel as well. I know that she has some really good. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's see. I imagine it was just the Y value. Yeah, and so you can adjust whatever axis that you want in this case. You could adjust the X, the Y, the Z, doesn't matter. And so, and of course, you can spawn them from a single position. So this is Sarah Carmody. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Sarah, and you end up watching this. And she's a senior effects artist at Blizzard. And so, essentially, these are some pretty cool projectiles. And I'm thinking that ours is going to be more along the lines and something like this. Just keep in mind, you know, we're wanting to focus on something, maybe something like this trail. And then we want a center that's kind of like a mix between this one right here. And so we need a core orb. We need some sparks to help support it. And then we're going to need some flames, which we already have. There's also some extra motion in here that we can also add. But we're going to try and go for a decent shape, kind of like this one, but with a glow instead. And so, okay. And let me go ahead and throw my YouTube back on the other side so I can read the comments. Okay. So, from here, let's crack open Photo Potato. The potato photo. And we're going to create a new image. We're going to do 512 by 512. Let's see here. Just like that. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to make my color completely white. Just like so. Change my flow, change my opacity back to 100. Like so. And I'm just going to try some things real quick. I can't guarantee that these will be perfect. I'm just kind of wanting to see what's going to happen with them. So let me see, polar coordinates. Okay. And so up, back. I'm going to grab my tablet. I'm just going to kind of paint some lines here. And this right here will be kind of for our chromatic effect, perhaps, or for some sort of chromatic effect. And so now we have a ring, okay? And then what I want to do is let's go back to this and filter and distort and maybe pinch. Is it pinch I'm looking for? No, it's not pinch. It's like motion blur. So blur, motion blur. And then we'll do some distance here. No, but I wish I could do like motion blur outwards. So that, I wonder what polar coordinates of polar coordinates look like. There you go, that's what polar coordinates of polar coordinates look like. So we're going to do this, and then let's go ahead and start painting in a nice orb inside of here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my pen again, something like so. And I'm going to start painting this little orb in here, kind of like that. And we'll get into detailing it in just a bit here. Actually, I'm going to erase this orb if I can. It might be too much. Come on, Photoshop. You can do it. There we go. I want this on a new layer. Okay. And so, coming in, I'm just painting this orb. It does not have to be perfect. Magic is not perfect. Imperfect is the best. Okay, so it's kind of lopsided. That's okay. And just coming in and painting like a circle and giving it some depth. It's looking nice. Let's not extend too much over there, because we want those sparkly things to kind of pop out. And then what we can do is we can go to Other and Minimum. And that's not what I was hoping would happen. Let me go and I'm going to merge these layers. And then I'm going to do minimum and see if that fixes it. Okay, there we go. And so now we want to get in some really solid shapes. Ooh, that looks nice. And so we've kind of still got like our little spiky parts off the edge. And we've got like this cool little ball. And just to see how it's going to look, not a gradient, we want to do a gradient map. We're going to throw a gradient map on this thing. And let's see, we're going to throw that right there, bring this over. This right here is going to be black. And then this right here is going to be hot orange. One thing I'm going to do is, let's see, fire. Okay. And so I'm just going to download an image off the internet real quick. Save image. Actually, I'm just going to use my color picker. So I have a color picker in Chrome. It's this little thing right here. And it lets me pick colors. So I'm going to choose like this bright white right there. Oh, whoops. So I'm going to choose this bright white, like that. And you can see that it's not quite right. Not quite white. Okay, so go ahead and bring that in. And I'm going to just do this on my other screen real quick so that it's not covering the whole channel, the whole screen. Okay, and so I'm going to make this like that. Then I'm going to pick my next color, and I'm going to choose a brighter yellow, something like so. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say 100% opacity. Nope, nope, uh-oh. I broke it. There we go. Back here. And then I'm going to select, which actually I found a fire that I like a whole lot better. This one right here. So I'm going to select the colors from that. Which I want us to make, since we are VFX software, I want us to make a gradient tool. I mean, there's the Curve Atlas tool in Unreal, and that's great and all, but I want a Curve Atlas tool, or an Atlas tool that I could just like slide my cursor across this, besides like Substance Designer or something like that. Okay, so let me see. I got my white gradient, and it's going to be right here. There we go. And then I'm going to select my color picker and get the next color. Just bear with me, this right here is just part of the process. So here we go. Just like that. Oh, nope. Oh, I messed up. I don't like Photoshop, because this is way too difficult. More difficult than it should be. Okay. There we go. Pick that color, copy it, click here, paste it. And then it reverses. I don't get it. Okay. Anyway, so we are getting all good. You got nowhere to go. There you go. Okay. And so we got that. And then let's see. I'm trying to pick a lighter, better color. Okay, something like this. So I'm going to add that, just like that. Something like so. And then I'm going to find an even darker color to fade into. Something like this. There we go. And so now we have a realistic fire gradient based on what I am seeing. There we go. Now imagine that thing right there distorted. There's going to be some badass fire, huh? Okay, and so I think that that right there is sufficient. And so that right there is a nice fireball. And now I'm going to go into here on my background. I'm going to bring this right here up a little bit. I'm just going to get some of these like highlights on some of these edges. And so we can do something like that. But I want to keep this right here at 0.5. And okay, that's going to fade out nicely, I do believe. And so we will keep this right here. And I'll try something real quick, and I'll go to Filter Gallery and do my paint daubs. We'll see how that works out. No, that's too much. I really kind of like the sharp edges that I have here. One thing I can do is I can go into Liquify and kind of curve up some of these edges a little bit more. Right? So we can kind of come in here and really push some of these edges out. Kind of like that, remove some of the hard edges. Do something like this. There we go. Like so. Okay, and so that's not perfect, but it's certainly something. I don't want these to extend up too far, but okay, that was kind of weird. There we go. And so now we have a nicer little option. And one of the cool things is, by the way, if you didn't know this, oh, where is my pen? I lost my pen. Okay, here we go. And one of the cool things is if we paint, we can see the color happen in real time. And so it'll upgrade since we have, it'll update since we have a gradient map on this thing already. And so what I could do is I could come in here with my brush and I could turn off my minimum diameter and say if I wanted to, I could paint along this line right here to give me some thicker options or whatever, if I wanted to come in there and tune it up a bit. But I'm not particularly keen on doing that. One thing I will do, just for tests, is I will make like some little dots and such. I want to make some really bright dots out here. The hard thing is your brain really realizes patterns very easily, and so it's hard to notice what's random and what's not, because yeah. Okay, I think that right there is going to be a nice little texture. Let's get some big dots up in here. Something like that. Okay. And so one of the issues is it looks kind of square, all these little dots. So one thing I like to do is just come in and erase some of the ones on the edge and kind of keep the texture circular if I can. If that requires removing some of the dots, it's okay. And now it looks a bit more circular and it's not going to be as square. So now we have created a cool little fireball with some very simple painting and some filters and shit. Let's go to Save As, and we're going to call this FXT Fireball 01. I'm going to go to my PNG and I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to go here and turn off my gradient. Save As, PNG. Mask, save, okay. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over and let's see here. We're gonna go into Unreal. I'm gonna import my fireball textures like so. I'm going to save all, because we need to save everything we've done so far. Then I'm going to go to my materials. Nope, that's not the right thing. JFX, Fisher, Matte Fire Inst, Duplicate, FXM, Fireball, 01. I'm just going to duplicate this fire once again. If you need me to go over anything, just let me know. And so we're going to go here. I'm going to put this into spells, just like so. And what the crap? That's not the right thing. That's my fire instance. Fireball right here. And that's an instance too. Well then, let's see. Duplicate, there we go. FXM, Fireball, 01. Now let's put that in my spells folder. Okay, yeah, in the stream previously, it's on my channel and it's under past streams, I think. Which, whenever I looked at it, it looked like it cut it off like to the most recent 2 hours, but I'm not sure. We'll see. And also there's this stuff flickering at the bottom down here and I have no clue why. But that's the only thing that sucks about the stream. So, now that we've got that, we've got our fireball. I'm going to change this texture right here to be the fireball. I'm going to change this mask to be the fireball mask. And I'm going to lower my distortion 0.025 perhaps. And I'm also going to remove my addition right here from this previous material. And one of the things that I can do actually is say that I only want to distort the center. So let me just bring in this text chord. So in this case, this is a good example. I don't want to distort these sparkles very much, but I really want to distort the center. So how can I do that? And the way for us to do this is let's go into here, and we've got multiple layers. So let's go ahead and go into the blue channel, and I'm going to let me just merge these two layers. So merge layers, channels, just like so. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create just one big fat gradient with my paintbrush, which if I want to be more specific, and so actually, yeah, I'm going to need to do a gradient with this. And so what I can do is I can go over here, and I think I'm going to go to a new file real quick, 512 by 512, and I'm going to create a gradient, and then it's going to be a radial gradient. And it's going to be white to black. I'm going to reverse this gradient. Oh, did Photoshop crash or something? Oh, okay. So I need to reverse. There we go. Now I'll do that. And so actually, yeah, so I want to do that. Oh, okay. Hang on, I'm just trying to figure it out here. Because I want it to fade out. And I want this right here to be something like that. Okay. So I've got that, channels. So now I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to rasterize this layer. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to go into my Untitled. I'm going to go into channels. I'm going to paste in the blue channel. And now we have a gradient. And we're going to use this gradient as a thing that will allow us to distort only this portion that has a gradient on it. The rest won't be distorted within the material. And so now we can just save this, since this is our mask texture. And so we can save it, and this right here is saving on memory instead of having to import a specific gradient. I could use the radial gradient exponential node, but I wanted to do it in Photoshop in this particular instance. So let me go here, and I'm going to re-import. And then we're going to use the red channel as the subtraction. And then I'm going to just copy and paste this over here. And then I'm going to use the blue channel over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, I'm going to multiply this right here times the blue channel right here, and we can see if I preview this, we have a limited area of distortion, right? And so now, if I stop previewing, I do say 0.2 for this distortion, only the center of my, and so let's go here, only the center of this fireball is going to be distorted. And so that really lets you control how much distortion you have on your material. And so, and in certain places. So, I mean, that's a winner right there, if you ask me. So we've got that, and now we've got it distorting the way that we want it to. And maybe we want to do a little bit more distortion, maybe like 0.3. And so we've got that. And, you know, and just to kind of like show off some other math here, if we do a texture coordinate and we do a component mask, and say we bring in the red channel and we multiply that, then it's going to be a linear gradient. So we can see that the most distortion is over here, and then it's less distortion as it gets closer, right? Because now this texture looks just like this. So it's really bright over here, and then it gets darker. Because as we can see, nope, holy crap, don't convert that to a parameter. But anyway, back to there. So we've got that. And yeah, and so you can have it so that you have like a linear gradient, so that at first it's not distorted, and then as the trail gets longer, there you go, it's distorting. And so let me go ahead and turn this dissolve rate to 0 so that we can preview the material over here. Okay, and so we've got us a nice little material. We got some twinkling stuff as sparkles, and then yeah, so I think that this right here is looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Save. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into our fire trail. And I'm going to create a new emitter. So we're going to just duplicate my emitter. And from here, I'm going to hide my main fireball. So we're going to call this fire trail. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, man, I got to tell you, that fire looks so good for not being a flip book. All right. And so anyway, and if any of you new watchers out there, all 4 of you, if you have any questions, let me know. And I'll show you how I created the fireball material that's floating around right here and whatnot. And so let's do my motion radius. We'll do 500. This way we can kind of see a good example of what's going on here. We'll change my size by life on this fire trail. And actually, it's going to be this one, technically. And so I'm going to change my size by life to, say, 1. Here we go. So I do want to change this to, say, 2. Then I want to change this to, like, 3 and 5, perhaps. There we go. Now it's more of a fire trail. We probably want to spawn a little bit more than this, so say 50. Hello there, Jay. I'm not sure how often I'm going to stream. I mean, I could stream each weekend. It just depends. I mean, most of the time I'm just running our business, which is FX VFX software. And anytime I'm free, you know, or I want to create some new promotional materials and stuff, kind of like this, then I'll be streaming. I'll think that anytime I'm at home and doing work and such, I should probably just stream it. I mean, if you guys want it to be, I could stream every Saturday. If people are willing to come in and watch the stream and interact and whatnot, I'd like to do that. And of course, you know, we're building a new website, vfxforgames.com, and we'll have tutorials and more courses and live streams and all kinds of stuff going on from there. And so things will evolve. But yeah, I mean, you know, it just kind of depends. Right now it's, I would think, on Saturdays, typically around this time or during the day. If I get enough feedback, then I can certainly look at doing it every weekend. And so there is a very impressive fireball, even for my own skill. I'm very happy with how it turned out without flow maps and stuff. I think it looks great. So let's go ahead and hide the fire trail. And I'm going to bring in my fireball. So let's see, FXM, fireball. Let's see, holy crap. And I don't want this to be rectangle, I want it to be square. And then I want this to be a local space option. And let's see. One of the things I should do is go into my size by life, I'll do say like 1. Okay, cool, Jay. And if you have any questions, because I don't know if you were on the stream earlier, like an hour ago, but just let me know and I will be happy to show off some stuff. So I'm going to turn off motion real quick and turn on my axis. Okay, that is where it belongs. And so right now I need to do, say, only 5 of these things. And what we can do is, these right here, they're bouncing in a lot, and I don't want them to bounce in. And so what I'm thinking is maybe we make this go down to 0, and perhaps, so we've got our dissolve on this parameter, and let's see, so I want it to be 1, and then at 0.5 I want it to go to 1, and then at 1 I want it to fade back out. So let's see, 0, 1. Is that working the way that I hope it is? Not particularly. It's still really brutal in the spawn thing. So what I can do is I'll do particle color, bring this in, and I'll multiply this. I didn't use particle color on the fire because I didn't need to on the actual fireball, but on this I suppose I will use a color there. And so now what we're going to do, so we got our color over life, and we want to go into our alpha, and I'm going to make this 0 at first, then we're going to go to 0.5, and we're going to go to 1, and so there we go. And so now it's a little bit less on the abrupt side, and perhaps we could start from 0 here too, or maybe like 0.5. And this isn't quite looking like I'd hope it was. Let's see, size by life. Yeah, perhaps just no size by life, and we just fade it in over time, and that'll look good. We've got some nice distortion, and perhaps instead of it fading in, we can delete this right here, and we can boost it up, say 3 in size, and then it's just expanding outwards all the way from, say, 0. Yeah, very small amount of size by life. I can agree to that. Something like that, and so say 1 to 2. And now what we can do is, now let's go ahead and unhook this, and let's see. I can't remember which goes in front of which. I'll just create a new particle system emitter, and I can't tell what one's in front of the other. Oh well, I don't think it matters quite at this point. And so now let's go ahead and hop into our test, and we'll see our fireballs. And so now we have little balls of fire attached to it. And so just in case you don't know Jay, what I did was, we have a blueprint that's spawning a bunch of projectiles, and they're homing to this target. And so we have that, and one of the things is I think that perhaps my fireball is a bit too big, and so I'm going to go into my initial size. I'm going to go to rename this to fireball. And so initial size right here, and so I'm going to do, say, 25, and we'll do, say, 15, something like that. And then I'll go over here to my initial size as well, and just say 20, 40 to 40, and maybe 20, something like that. And let's go ahead and save that. And so now we have a more interesting thing. Let me go to post-process volume again. I'm going to delete this thing. There we go. Let me see my colors. And I'm actually going to go into my projectile. And so let's see, so spell fireball. I don't want to offset it this much, so we'll do -2. and +2, something like that. -4 maybe. And so there we go. And now what I want to do is I want to go into my actual casting thing. I'm going to do 1 fireball per second. So now we have it casting a little bit better. And then it's not as offset, and so it's a little straighter. And then I also want to go back into this right here. Yeah, and so I think I did the blueprint stuff right here on the previous stream. And so, but essentially I'm just I'm spawning my fireball actor, which is this. All it does is it gets all actors of class, which is sad pleb, which that is our target. And the target is just literally a sphere. And then from there, I'm doing a sequence. And in the first sequence, I'm doing a timeline, which looks like this. This right here is just giving us some offset motion. And I'll lower this Z amount a little bit. And so all that's doing is just giving us some offset motion. Then I'm applying a random number to it to randomize this timeline. And then I'm adding a local offset to the actual fireball. And then I'm doing a delay of 3 seconds, and that's killing it. And then on tick, I am just lerping from the world location of the actual fireball with a constant, or v_interp2 constant. So that's basically, I think, vector interpolation constant. And so it's going from my current position to my target. And my target is this all actors of class sad pleb, which is our target that's placed in the world. And so to kind of demonstrate how it works is if I go over here and say our target is moving, the fireballs will actually track the target, right? And so we could have a character that's running and the fireballs will track this particular target, right? And so it's pretty cool. Oh, I lost it. It ran away. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So would the impact of these be caused by an event? What we would do is as soon as the, technically you could have a collision bounds, and as soon as the fireball reaches the position, okay, so what we can do is, so let's go ahead and make an impact for this, right? Let's kind of fill out the actual effect. So right now these fireballs, we got them, they're not, perfect to what we want, but let's make an impact so that we can see this. So we're going to do open blueprint editor. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make this like 0.5, something like that. And so then I'm going to go to my spell fireball and I'm going to say let's go here and I will say basically what we want to do is, since for some reason my overlap event wasn't working, so I have this overlap event and it wasn't working for some reason, but what we can do is let's just say that once it reaches our target, right? So once the fireball has reached the target, we will make an impact. And so whenever we say return value, let's do a promote to variable, and I will do set, and this new variable will be current location, and then we will do world location, so we'll do a boolean. Greetings, brother of Spencer. And so what we want to do is we want to do a branch, right? And actually, let me just do branch and then condition. So we'll say if equal. So if this vector equals this vector within a range of, say, 2, right? So within a tolerance of 2. We can even do a tolerance of 5, right? Depending on how fat our character is, right? Or how wide they are, whatever. And so this will say whenever this is within 5 float units, or whenever it's within 5 units, we want to spawn a thing. And so whenever it equals that, whenever it's true, we want to do spawn particle at location. And we're going to do the location of this object right here. So of the object that we're tracking. Just like so. And I'm going to go into vector region. And so just in case you don't know, if you've subscribed to me, or mainly I guess to my company's channel, so if you subscribe to us, the main thing that you might have subscribed from is probably our tutorials, but we also create software. And so I'm going to just generate some random noise here within our software called vector region. And what this is going to allow me to do is create a nice impact effect. And so we've got this. I'm going to up my frequency a bit. And let me go to vector settings, or actually particle settings. I'm going to scale up my time step so I can actually see what's going on here. And so it's going to burst out like that. And I actually want to preview this with a single burst. And so there we go, single burst. And let me boost my lifetime, something like that. Okay, and then I want to tile my vector field. So let's see, repeat, and I want a tightness of say 0.5. Maybe we'll do something lower. Tightness of 0.5, tightness is 0. Okay, it's interesting. 0.2, 0.4. It's all good, Spencer. And so, yeah, you certainly don't need vector fields if you want to make cool impacts. You know, with me, this is our company software. I'm going to use it at any time that I can, just because I think that vector fields create really cool motion. But man, you don't need this. You could get away with orbit if you wanted to. And so we've got this right here as a nice impact. I think that's pretty cool. I want a little bit less frequency in it. And so let's kind of bring this up. There we go. I think that's nice. And so, and one thing that we could do is we could do some noise. And let me do a fade. And let's see, I guess, and supporting a company that does VFX tools specifically. And J, it does not take a lot of performance. Vector fields are very negligible on a performance standpoint. Right now we're simulating 25,000 particles in our software, but you certainly wouldn't use this amount inside of Unreal. Within Unreal, you'd want to use 500, 1,000, 2,000, like maybe if you're like really, something really important, 10,000 particles, but it would have to be like an environmental effect at that point. So I would keep the particle count quite low. But, and so what I'm going to do right now is I am going to blend in these two things. I'm going to fade in. So let me bring in a negative fade value. So 100, right? And so now it's going to fade in like so. Oh, sorry. Let me see about it here. And, I have this notebook and stuff in front of me. Let me move it. It might be me scratching on it. There we go. Okay. And so we've got this, and I'm going to add in a rotate node. And now we can see that whenever I rotate it, our vector field is going to rotate inwards. And then I'm going to interpolate that with my random noise. So now we have random noise that swirls inwards. And so from here, I think that right there is a good enough vector field for our use. And so I'm going to export this vector field, and I'm going to go to Data, VFX, Textures, and I'll just call this Input sorry, not input, what am I talking about? Impact, 01. Okay, and so we've got that, and I think that's pretty good. And so I can go ahead and minimize vector region, and now what we're going to do is import this particular impact, and then I'm going to go into my fire trail, and I'm going to do a new emitter. I'm going to do FXM glow. Nope, that's a bad one. FXM sparks. Nope, that was kind of ugly too. And you know what? I will just create a new material instead. So I'll go to new and material, and we'll just call this FXM glow 02, since I already have a glow. And so what I'll do is radial gradient exponential. I'm just going to chunk this in here on emissive. I'm going to go to additive and default lit, and I'm going to do unlit, and then I'm going to do particle color. Let's go to make this a square. Make it a square so that we can see the gradient. And so now I'm going to multiply these. Let's do this. So it goes into opacity, that goes into emissive color, just like that. And let me change my radius. So say 0.2. Nope, so that's not what I want to change. Perhaps want to change my density. Five, maybe? 2. See, what is my default density? It defaults to 2.33. And so, let's see. 10. What's 500? So we'll do 1 as my density. So now we should have maybe 1.5 as its density. Okay, so now we've got that, and that's my basic little gradient. That's all I need for that. And so now I'll go back into my fire trail, and I'm going to do FXM glow 02. Nope, that's the wrong one. Glow 02. And now I'm going to do type data, new GPU sprites, and then I'm going to set my spawn. And actually, what am I doing? I'm working on an impact. So I'm going to go to new particle system, FX fireball impact. Let's go ahead and save everything. And so now within here, I'm going to bring in my glow material. I'm going to do type data, new GPU sprites. Hello there, fourth viewer. And then I'm going to do, say, 5 and 2, and then 0.1, 0.2, 1, something like that. And then I'll do maybe 5 again, 2.2. Something like so. 10, 50, 10. Okay. Yeah, so I'll do something like that. And then what I want to do is size my life, and I will do just 1. I want to fade this out to 0, because typically with sparks, then fading out like this is the best. So I don't really need my color over life in this case. And what I want to do is initial size. I want to say 5, or between 2 and 5 is optimal for this kind of thing. And I don't want a constant spawn rate. I want a burst. And so I'll say maybe 50, or yeah, let's do 100. And I'll turn off my initial velocity. I will bring in a local spawn location. I'll make this a sphere with 5. I'm going to bring in my local vector field that I just created in Vector Regen. And impact 01, I believe it was called. Let me make sure. File, export, let's see. I'm just making sure that this is the right one. VFX, textures, Yeah, okay. So that was what I named it. Okay. And so from here, now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and make this equal 1. I'm going to bring in my scale, so say 0.2, maybe 0.1 on each axis. So we'll make this a lot smaller. I'm going to tile this vector field. And then I'm going to make it say maybe 2. And then what I want to do is maybe make this say 10, 20 in size, maybe 40. And let's go back out and just say 0.5, 0.5, something like that. And then what we can do is duplicate this emitter, and instead of using GPU sprites, and we don't need a vector field for this, we'll just do a size by life. We'll go from 0 to say 5, or maybe, yeah, and we'll do an initial size of say 10 and 10, oh, not 110, 10, 10, 25, 25. Very off-topic question, but does anyone know where to buy game models from? Unreal Marketplace. You can go on Unreal Marketplace or whatever. There's the Paragon models, that kind of thing. You know, Turbo Squid, CG Trader, you name it. There's a bunch of stuff out there. And so now I don't want to spawn this many particles, so I only need to spawn like say 2. I don't want to spawn them within the sphere either. And I want this lifetime to be maybe 0.2 or 0.15, and so we want this to be a bright flash. We want it to be brighter, or actually larger than this, so we'll do say 15 or 5, and we can go over here to our sphere. And if we change this to say 0.2, the particles won't be as tight on the vector field. Then we can go over here to say this, and let me change my velocity to 10 and negative 10. And so, and there's like the Paragon characters. Epic released like a ton of stuff. There's also Sketchfab. There's characters on there. And so, either way, so we got that. And now what we want to do is burst outwards like that. And so we can make our sphere size smaller, say 5, 10, 20, something like that. And so now we have a nice burst. And then say we want to, and so we'll call this glow. We'll call these embers. And then from here, what we'll do is I want to have like some stretchy stuff. So what we can do is I can go into required, and then rectangle, and then I'm going to go into size by life, and I'm going to do say 2 and 15, something like that. And so now we have a really strong glow that goes upwards. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate this again. And so we'll say vertical, horizontal, something like so. And then on this size by life, I'm going to do 15 and then 1. And so there we go. There is a, you'd add a second one and add some initial rotation. Yeah, and so we can do initial rotation. And so one thing is, yeah, okay. So we'll do that. Yeah, that's not so shabby. Yeah, it's spawning multiple, so I'll just do 1 and 1. So there we go. So now we've got some randomized flares, some flashes. Actually, one thing that I can do is I can go over here to my initial rotation, and I can say negative 0.25 to 0.25. Actually, we'll do like 0.15, negative 0.15, and we'll do the same over here just so that they don't ever cross each other too much. And so now we've got that. There's a nice little impact. And so, and then of course, if we want to, we can take part of this fire trail. And so what I need to do is I'm gonna select this right here. I'm gonna go to my fire trail, right click and export the emitter. So now we have the fireball within this impact. And instead of spawning a constant amount, I'm going to spawn a couple of them. So say 5. And so now we have a nice little burst of fire. So we'll do say 50, 50, 50, negative 50, negative 50, negative 50, something like that. Now boom, we've got some nice fire that spawns up. And let me go to this. And then I'm going to go, I'll say 8. There we go. And so we'll make that a lot bigger. Something like so. And, well, it's using a lot of the same techniques as Diablo, except I'm using UV distortion on this. And so we've got that. And what we could do if we wanted to make this like hella next gen, we can say 500 of these sparkles. And then another thing that we can do is go to this vector field, VF init rotation, and we'll do a maximum of 1. And now that we'll have it so that the vector field spawns rotated randomly. So now we can see, and actually what I need to do is just do 1 loop on each of these. And so let's see, so 1 loop, and then 1 loop, and 1 loop. In Paragon, they did a lot of this stuff with GPU particles, and most of their stuff was GPU, but I'm not going to do it that way. So now we can see that the vector field randomly comes in with an initial rotation, and so then we could also come in and do a VF rotation rate, say 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.2 maybe. And now, sorry I had to burp. And so now these little particles will kind of rotate around and flip around. And so now that's a pretty cool little burst. And so now let's go back to our spell fireball right here. Now we can choose our fireball impact. And now let's test it out. See if it works. And I don't think that it's working. Let me see here. I've got a fireball in the world. I'm just going to see if this thing right here triggers. Oh, here we go. Play. And actually, let's see. So let's diagnose this. And so we want to say that, I'm playing this while I can't do it. So get world location. Here we go. What we want to do is this one right here. Let me just play it and see how it goes. Let's see. Bring this right here over here. I'm going to say watch this value. Watch this value. Okay, and so now they are equal. And so from here, yeah, so the projectile is lingering after impact. There's not a whole lot I can do about the projectile lingering right this second, because I can't tell it when to die specifically. I can lower this rate right here and say maybe 2. And so Let's see here. Okay, I can't tell if it is spawning the impact or not. So let's just go ahead and bring in this impact right here. And we'll place it on the target so that we can see what it looks like. Something like this. And then I'm going to go into my impact and I'm just going to restart level. Okay, so that right there is what we should be seeing whenever it impacts. And so what I need to do is go here to my fireball, if that equals that. Let me get the location of this right here. New location, current location. There's that. True. It should spawn that. Scale of 1. Let me just do a string, print string, hello. Oh, look at that. It suddenly works now, and I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't compile the blueprint. And so now, what we need to do is we need to say do once. So it'll only spawn the impact once. And then, boom. Now we've got projectiles that come in and impact the target as soon as they get there. And it's kind of cool that the actual fireballs linger. And so then what we can do is we can automate the target moving. So what I'll do is I'll go and add in a level sequence. Let's just call this like target or something. I don't know. And so inside of my sequence, let me click on our sad pleb. And what we'll do, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Sequence, go there, edit it, okay. Warframe, okay, so let me catch up again on the chat here. Warframe style, Diablo style fire, amazing. The environment is GPU, which makes sense. So much GPU, it all looks pretty. Seems that the projectiles linger if they make contact. Yeah, they do, but it kind of works. It's kind of cool. And then it says, I wonder if there's a way to get a burst effect on the spawn of the projectile. Of course there is. Of course there's a way for us to make a burst effect. Come on, man. I'll do that in a second. And so first let's go ahead and get this target to move around a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to the sequencer, and it's typically at the top if you have it selected. And so now what I'm going to do is just kind of half screen my Unreal for a second here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a track. I'm going to add a transform track. I'm going to click the plus sign right here, and then I'm going to move this over here. And actually, I'm going to move this first, and then I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to move that there. I'm going to move this again to about 100. I'm going to move that up here somewhere. And then I'm going to move this a bit again, down to say here. Something like that. And there we go. And so now, if I go here, I can go ahead and minimize my sequencer, maximize my Unreal again, and if I go to sequence, autoplay, and then we want it to loop indefinitely, and so now the target will move around. So then we can test our fireballs actually hitting the target. And so how about that? You know what? I should do a tutorial on the actual fire from scratch itself, because that's some really good fire. I'm quite impressed with it. It turned out nicely. And so there we go. That right there is with our impacts. And excuse me for all the fog here. Let me turn down the fog so that we can actually see what in the hell is going on. Let me open up my sequence again. Huh. See there? Okay. So yeah, so there we go. And I'll turn my fog down even more. So here we go, a much clearer level. Yeah, it does kind of look like it's setting the target on fire, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, and so now you said you wanted some launch effects. And so one thing I want to do is I want to go into my spells. I'm going to go into my projectile spawner. I'm going to add a component, and I'm going to add in a cube. I'm going to say 2, or actually 0.2, 0.5, something like that, 0.5, and say 3. And so here is our our sorcerer, our character. And so we're going to do that. I'm going to go into my event graph. I'm going to turn this down to like 50. I don't want it to spawn in such a huge area anymore. And so now let's just go here. And so now we've got our sorcerer casting stuff. And so he can come over here onto the ground, just like that. And he's attacking this moving target. And it's doing its thing. And one thing that we might want to do is maybe speed up the actual projectile. And so one thing we can do is I can just promote this to a variable. I can call this speed, instance editable, expose on spawn, and then compile, and I'll say maybe 2500, and then save. And now it'll go a whole lot faster. And then one thing we can do, if we really wanted to, so we can randomize this speed just for some extra juice, right? So we can randomize the speed. So we can say this right here, add float. So float plus float. And then what we can do is random float from range, or in range, and we can go from 0 to say, or actually say negative 500 to positive 500, something like that. And let's go ahead and save that. And so now we have varying sizes. So we can go here and we can change our spawn rate. And we can change our speed on our fireball, the default. We can change this to say 1800. Just say something like this. And so now we have randomized speeds, 0.5. And so there we go. There's our little impacts and such. And so now let's go ahead and get this thing into some more glory, right? And so what can we do now? And let's see here. Oh, rip, I saved my map and deleted my post process. No! Okay, come on. Select that. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to start this guy right here on the ground. And there we go. I'm going to move him closer. Oh, nope. Something like that. Let's just play to see what it looks like again. Okay, so he's casting these fireballs. Alright, and so now we're going to get into doing the quick launch. And then from there we're going to go back and really start tuning in that fireball effect to make it look quite nice. And then we'll be done. And so let me go ahead and save all just in case I haven't. Get a drink of water real quick. Excuse me. All right. So, where are we? So we need a launch effect. And so for a launch effect, let's hop back into this and I'll do a line fade and let's spawn that in. And actually I don't need to do a fade at all. I don't need to rotate. I'm going to do a constant, interpolate that. Let's see. There we go. And so we'll just blow outwards. And so then what we can do is change this constant to say 500 or maybe 200. Actually, you know what? I think what would be cooler is if I brought in an SDF node. And then, okay, so you said, this is super helpful, by the way. I was given advice from Pete Cooper about my portfolio. Said I need more projectiles, but I had no idea how to do them. Yeah, man, it's just going with the flow. So add a new component. And let's go ahead and, so I got my flow direction in there. I'm going to change the radius of this component, like so. And so we got that, and let's see here, lower this right here, and change my blend distance, something like so. And now let's interpolate this, and so now it kind of goes around this sphere a little bit. So that's on my x-axis, so we'll move it over. And there we go. And so now we have kind of like a burst around this little sphere. And so what we can do is we can turn off this indicator. So now we can kind of see how it bursts around the sphere. And let's kind of go back into what our Unreal might look like. So let me lock this. I'll do say 200. So there we go. So now we have a burst. It goes like so. And so we want that to burst out of our character whenever he launches the stuff. Okay, so it's going to burst outwards. And I think that that right there looks nice. So I'm going to go ahead and export this. I'm going to call this, let's see, VFX, and I'll call this, I don't know, like projectile cast. Okay, and so see, super fast to edit vector fields in vector region, super quick. And so from there, now I'm just going to import again, and I'm going to go to VFX and projectile cast. And now I'm going to basically just steal this impact. I'm going to duplicate it, FX, fireball, cast. So we're going to go to the cast, and I don't need any of this vertical or horizontal or anything like that. I don't need the, I guess I could use the glow. And so from here with these embers, I'm going to go get my local vector field, projectile cast, something like that. In this case, I don't want any initial rotation, and I don't want a rotation rate. because I want it to come out at a certain point. So I'm going to do, say, 5 and 1, 2, 5. There we go. So we're going to burst it outwards, and I should burst my fire as well. So something like that. And so let me burst this, say 200, and then say 150, negative 150, and 150, negative 150. So something like that. And we're going to spawn a little bit more of this, say 15 of them, and give it a little bit more lifetime. So say maybe 1. So there we go. So now we've got a burst of fire. And if any of you watchers want to know how I did the fire, just let me know and I'll go back over it. It's not a flip book. Okay, so we've got that, and we've got our big glow. I'm going to increase the size of my glow, say 10. So we got that, and I think that's nice, but I'm going to expand my vector field size to 1, so something like this. And I'm going to change this right here to velocity. Then I'm going to make the size by life go from like that. And so then I also want to expand my radius to like 50. I want my tolerance to be 0.5. So there we go. We've got that. And this isn't like the best cast ever, but we'll do like 50, something like that. And I will come in and bring my velocity and keep some at 0. And then let me duplicate this emitter, and I'm going to call this cast upwards. And so I'm going to delete this cylinder. I'm going to bring in a sphere. And from here, what I'm going to do is, let me go ahead and visualize the sphere. I don't want anything in negative x or positive x. And apparently that doesn't change my visualizer. That's okay. And then, I don't want any velocity in that, but I'm going to do, say, 250, or maybe even 300, negative 300. Or let me just do 30, negative 30, 30, and 30, and negative 30. And what I'll do is I will scale this right here. And so let me look. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale the velocity with... So I'm going to do surface only, so that it's in a ring, right? And so surface only, and then I want to expand on that. And so we're going to have it cast outwards in a ring. What does it look like without surface? It's not as good. So I'll do, say, 20 as my initial size. I'll do 15, and I'll also bring out my size by life. And we'll make this right here, say, 15. 20, 50, nope, 20, 10, 15. Okay, I think that's nice. Okay, and I'm going to spawn 25 of these. This is a lot of particles for just the spawn, but whatever. I don't really care. Okay, and so then I also want to go into the fire trail. I'm going to make these right here velocity aligned. So let me just go here. And then let's say size by life. And I'm going to boost this up to like 15, 20. And so it's really going to cast outwards. Right, so now it's more like a burst from the hands. So yeah, and Eclipse, are you watching right now? Type in the chat. Are you Jay on the chat or no? Okay, and so we've got this right here, and now let's go ahead and go back to our cast upwards. And let's lower these particle counts. I do care. I don't want that many particles spawning up. And so we've got that now. And so this right here is our cast. I think it's looking good. I probably want to increase the strength of this vector field to maybe 10. And I probably want to do like 0.5, give it some variation in the sparkles. And then let's go ahead here to our fireball, and we will say on begin play. And actually what we'll do is on projectile spawner, we'll say, let's see here. And what I can do is actually, let's see. So now we need to spawn this. I can spawn it with the fireball. Oh, okay. And so now what we can do is we'll do a spawn emitter at location. And so we'll go here. We'll spawn this, and we'll call this fireball cast. So we want to cast the fireball. We want to get the location of the root. And then for our rotation, whenever and actually what we want to do is we want to get all actors of class first, because we're going to use the rotation of the enemy that we're getting from the class. Okay, and so we've got this, and hang on one second, guys. Okay, I'm back. So, essentially, let's see here. Now that we've got this, we want to get the look at rotation of this target. And so we'll say root component, and let's bring these back. Via a bottom. I'm not sure what you mean there. And so get look. See. Find look at rotation. And so let's see. What I can do is delete that right there. So this right here is going to be our rotation, and this right here is getting super messy, but I want to get the location of so that's the target, and I want to get my current location, which is this, and then this right here will ensure that we cast into the correct, oh, I see, have it trigger via a button. I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if we can trigger via a button without possessing it, but we'll see. And so, let's see here. This is on spell fireball. And so, projectile spawner. Yeah, so I'm not doing it in the spawner, I'm doing it in the fireball. And I'm getting my rotation, getting my location of the default scene root. Yep, just like that. And so it should just spawn. Let's see here, let's bring in my fireball cast. So see here, this is what my cast looks like. Huh. Deactivate and then activate. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just delete the projectile spawner and spawn a new one. And then I'll save all as well. It's not working. Oh my god, what a pain. See? Do you have anything specific that you would deactivate there, Jay? I'm unsure. This should work, I would think. Huh. Here, I'll do that. Compile. I'll do this, then compile, save it, and we'll try it again. So something like that, perhaps. Huh. Even my impact isn't working anymore. Oh, I got you. Yeah, so so we might need to convert it to a particle component. Okay, so which, you know, it might be because I'm simulating. I'll play in the selected viewport. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think it's just a tick issue. So there we go. I'm breathing a huge ass amount of fire. And we're spitting out these things and impacting it on this target. Huzzah! Yeah, so it's just a play issue. And so one thing is I'd probably scale down that particle, which typically I wouldn't do it this way via scale, but we'll see how it looks. If it looks like garbage, then I'll have to scale it down manually. Yeah, that looks like shit. So darn ghoul. 1, 1, 1. So our fireball cast is way too big. Okay, so something like this. And then I'm going to initial size, say 20, 20, and 10, and 10. And then my initial size here, 20, 20, 10, 10. And then my initial velocity is going to be like 200. And then 50, negative 50, 50, and negative 50. Something like so. And then, yeah, I'll just go with that right there. Then I'll come to my sphere for my cast upwards, and I'll do, say, 7.5 as that. And then lastly, I need to get to my vector field, and we'll do, say, 10, 20. There we go. So something just like that. And now we have reduced our cast quite a bit. So let's go ahead and play this. So there we go. So now it's much smaller. And then we've got our impact over here, impacting the shit out of this thing. And then we can change this rate to be like 2, so that it only casts every so often. And so now we've got a quick cast. And so I haven't done like any build up or anything like that on it. But one thing I want to do now is I want to get this actual fireball to look good, right? And so right now it's just like a string of fireball with an actual parent particle or whatever. But what I'm wanting to do now is, let's see here, take another drink of water. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get some particles going, GPU particles of course. So our fire trail, I'm going to go to my fireball impact. I'm going to just grab these embers right here. So I'm going to go to my fire trail, browse to it, go to my impact, export the emitter. So now I've got this stuff right here in my fireball trail. We're going to spawn, say, a constant number of maybe 500. We'll delete my burst. And then I'll go ahead and turn off my emitter loops. And I don't know if a vector field will work for this specifically, but what we can do is we can turn off tiling, and that'll fix some issues that we have. And then let's do that. Let's say 5. So we'll do something like this. And then, so we've got that. And now let's just see what this right here looks like real quick. Okay, so not enough sparkles. We need some bigger sparkles here. So these GPU sprites are way too small. So I'll do like 15, 15, and then say 5 and 5. I'll spawn, say, 50 of them. And for now, I will turn off the vector field. And I'll do some drag. And then see like a drag of, say, 5 or something. And then let's tune down this velocity a lot too. So go into here, turn off. Actually, let's just do, say, 5, something like that. And what we can do is turn this drag down a little bit, but we will add in some acceleration, some constant acceleration, negative, say, 200, which actually it's heat, so maybe it'll rise, right? Something like that. And then let's go ahead and boost our main core, boost its size as well. Okay, so now we've got some lingering embers, which is looking nice. I think that looks pretty good. One thing I want to do is light, directional light. Holy crap, that's already like ultra low intensity as it stands. Here. I wonder if I like look at it from this direction, will it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's looking pure dopeness so far. But I want a little bit more sparks. This is Unreal Engine. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Jay. I appreciate it. And just subscribe to our notifications and you might get an email about it. And I'll probably try and stream on Saturdays. Yeah, more sparks. I'll do, say, 200. See how this looks. There we go. That's looking a lot nicer, I think. I think that the sparks might be a bit too big or live too long or something. I can't quite put my finger on it right now. Let's see here. What can I do? So go here and change up my initial size to maybe 10, something like that. And we'll do lifetime, say 0.2. And so really differentiate that. And I'll do 1.5 as some of the lifetime. Have some longer lingering sparks. And so I'm sure that it's hard to tell on the YouTube video the impact. That's because of the temporal anti-aliasing. Ugh. Which, technically, I think we can fix that a little bit. Let's see, AA, responsive AA. And this will make sure that it's not completely fucked by temporal aliasing, I think. Yeah, there we go. Now you can actually see what the hell is going on with it in the distance. So there we go. Boom. It's impacting. And I'm going to, let me see here. Let me go back. Oh, whoops. Let me go to my actual spell. And let me go ahead and save everything again, just to make sure. Okay, and so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my fireball. And I'm really gonna fix this right here up. I don't want it to go so much. So I'll do like negative 0.5 and 0.5. And then over here on my timeline, I really just want to like lower this a lot. I want them to be kind of straight for now. I'd imagine that if I wanted to add a trail via a ribbon, I'd probably need a mesh for the projectile, right? Haven't used it. Nah, you don't need a ribbon. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to have a mesh to have a ribbon. And so we're probably going to do a ribbon here in just a second for some smoke or something. It kind of depends. Or maybe a ribbon for something else. We'll see. I've never used an anim trail, to be honest. I've been using Unreal since like 2000 and something. I don't know. I've been using Unreal 4 since 2014 or 2013. And I've never used the anim trail. I'm not even sure what it does, to be honest. Okay, so it's looking pretty good in motion. And so we've got our upward sparks and upward movement. We've got our cast. So we're thrusting the fireball. And also, did you notice that depending on where the target is, the actual cast particle rotates towards it, and so the cast looks at that target. It's pretty cool. And so, so we got that, and what I want to do is I want to bring this right here back a little bit. Let's bring it back, way back. Oh, nope. What the fuck? It refuses. It refuses to go. Oh, duh. I don't need that right there. So in my sequencer, it kept sending me back. So here we go. Oh, that's too far back because it can't reach the target. There we go, some long-range fireballs. What it looks like from the side view. See here. The lighting gets all fucked up. So one thing is I think that the actual fire from the fireball could be a bit bigger. So let's go to our fireball trail and we'll go to our size by life. And we'll make this say 5 and 7. Something like that. And then I also want to make it bigger at the start, so say 4 and 4. So we'll see how this looks. And then one thing we can do is we can just test a trail here real quick. Oh, where's that? Here it is. Okay. So we can test a ribbon. So we'll do a new sprite emitter and we'll call this smoke or something. I don't know what this is going to be yet. I don't know if we need smoke for this. But we might want some differences in color. And so we'll just use that right there. And I'm going to go to type data, ribbon data, and now let's just play this. Okay, so it plays the ribbon, all right. This is kind of what it's going to look like. And let's see here. One of the things I don't like is that it has a constant velocity upwards. So we'll just do -10. And so now let's test it again. Okay. And so one of the things we could do is we notice that the trail is actually disappearing, or the actual projectile. And so what we can do to fix that, to ensure a full follow through, is what we can do is, let's see here, particle system. We'll get this, we'll say deactivate, and we'll say delay, and we'll delay, say, a full second again, and then we will destroy the actor. And this right here will make it so that our particle system doesn't just fuck off into the void. So there we go. So now it completely follows through. Okay, and so now let's put a texture on this ribbon. And so we're going to go into Photoshop, and we've already painted some good shit. Let's go here to New, and I'm going to do a, say, 256 by 1024. And let me go ahead and image rotation, 90 degrees. I'm going to backspace. Let me bring my tablet back. Where's my pen? It's like the third time I've lost my pen tonight. Okay. So, what we're going to do here is let's go ahead and we're going to paint in some nice flamey lines here. And so what I'm going to do is whenever I start painting, I'm not going to paint past these lines right here. Essentially, right? Imagine that those are there. And I might go out to here or out to here, but I'm not going to paint past these lines. That's where I'm going to start. The reason I'm going to do this is so that once I get to the point, I can tile the texture a bit later. So I'm going to do something like this. And we can just kind of bring this through. And we're just going to kind of follow these curves right here for a bit. And this is a bit too big. We want some detailed stuff. Oh shit. Hang on. I gotta reset up my chair here and sit up straight instead of crisscross. Okay. And so now let's just kind of come over And what we want to do is we just want to really kind of highlight these shapes out and get these shapes of a flame. And you can see that right now it looks like garbage, it looks like shit. That's okay. It's completely okay because we're going to run some filters over it, some minimize, min and max kind of stuff. And it's going to look fine in the end. Okay. And so now what we need to do is we're going to go to filter and then offset. And that's okay. And so now I'm just going to kind of connect the two. Something like that. Okay. And then, uh-oh, dropped my pen. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to other minimum. And once again, you can see we got some sick flames right here. Some sick flame shapes. And actually first, let me see what happens if I go to filter gallery. And then of course my favorite paint daubs. And let's daub this up a bit. So we'll do sparkle and do that. And then what happens if I minimize it? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Filter, other, minimum. Okay, yeah, so we get some cooler fire-like shapes here. What happens if we choose squareness? No, I don't like that. Roundness. And so one of the things I will note is that this roundness option, this preserve roundness, it's only in Photoshop CC to my knowledge. I don't think that it's in like Photoshop CS6 or anything. So you're stuck with the square version, which sucks, in my humble opinion. And so I don't like the way that turned out, so I'm going to go back and just minimize it from here without the first filter over it. And so there we go. And now what I want to do is Control L, and let's see how this right here fades out. And so we can see that we're getting some really nice flame shapes in this as it fades out. And so it's kind of got like a lot of holes in it, but we're going to distort this texture with UV distortion, just like we did the fire shader, and so it's not going to be too shabby. And so let's go ahead and click OK, and then I'm going to go over here to wherever my fire is. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to click, say fire, and let's see, fire, new. There we go. Now I got my fire gradient, just as I like it. And so that's cool. And actually, let me see this one right here. I think I might like this color better, or this gradient. So I'm going to say fire 2, because this right here is the one that I image picked off the internet and did a gradient from. Let's just say new. There we go. You can see the contrast in the gradient as well. And so we've got that. And now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to gradient map, and double click this. I'm going to click the gradient map. Wazam! There we go. There's my fiery gradient. And then I can go here, see how it'll fade with the color. So we can kind of boost this in any way that we want. We can make it a little bit more ethereal if we wanted to. I think I'm going to do like 0.65 and kind of lessen the values just a little bit. And from here, now we're going to export this shit. So let's go ahead and we're going to do, let's see, save as PNG, FXT fire trail. 1. Okay, and then we're going to turn off the gradient and then save as again, and we're going to save this as the mask. Like I said, you can do this inside of a TGA, but I'm too lazy to do it. And you could pack this mask inside the alpha channel, but I'm not going to do that. So we've got that. And then let's go here, and I'm going to go ahead and import textures, fire, and I've got my mask stuff. Let's go ahead and duplicate this fireball. It's going to say FXM fire trail 01. So we got that. And now let's hop in to this. I'm going to turn that off. And actually what I'm going to do is I only want the end of the fire trail to be distorted. And so I'm going to mask off the green channel, which this right here should be a linear gradient. Nope. I keep getting it wrong every time. So a linear gradient with this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to 1 minus x to flip them around, just like so. And then I'm going to multiply that, and then I'm going to do this, and then let's see, I'm going to take this, I'm going to make this the trail, I'm going to make this the mask, and then I think that there is no, I think you do number of customized UVs, and you say 1 for ribbons. I can't remember. If someone in the chat knows what you should do for a ribbon, I think that you change customized UVs to 1. And I think that that helps you out. Or it does something. I can't quite recall, but it's specific to the ribbon. Okay, I think that is that. And now we can see that we have some pretty little flames that only happen on one end. And so, let's see. Actually, I don't need to 1 minus x that. I can just do that, I believe. So now we have it really flamey over here, and then no flames on the other side. And then, let's see. Let's go ahead and apply that. And we will save. And this hard edge doesn't matter because we're going to fade it out over time. And so let me just delete the fire trail. I'm going to do my, undo that. I'm in the wrong particle. So here we go. On our fire trail asset, we've got this, and I am going to just copy this dynamic parameter over, since it's already got the correct settings for fire. And then I'm going to preview this in motion. So here we go, it's in motion. I'm going to do trail. And so we're going to see what it looks like any second now. Okay, so we've got this. We've got our ribbon data. And it looks kind of funky. So I don't really know what settings to put here. I'm not very good with ribbons. But we'll see. Okay, and so yeah, so there's something not right. Sampler source, texture, constant coordinate. Oh, here we go. Inside of this, we do coordinate index 1. Coordinate index 1. Coordinate index 1. Coordinate index 1. For everything. And then for custom UVs, we go back and we change that to 0. So we want to make sure that all these texture coordinates have a coordinate of 1. It's going to look really shit in this, but I think it'll look good on the ribbon. And so, let's see. If that's still not right, then maybe it's texture coordinate 2 on everything. And so I don't know the true reason why behind on a ribbon specifically you change this to texture coordinate 1 or 2. But what I do know is that, which that looks completely effed up as well. Let me see. We'll say 70 as that, and I'll do something like that. Let me maximize my viewport here. And so I can tell that it's just, that it's not right because of the way that the material is stretching. So let me look this up. Let's see here, ribbon tiling. Okay, coordinate index of 1. I don't think I compiled my material last time I did that. So we'll go back 1, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1. Okay, now we're going to make sure that everything is a texture coordinate of 1. It is compile this time. And fire trail. Let me change my velocity and turn that off. And it's still looking like butt. You know, I think, let me go here and let's see. Tiling distance. Turn on my tiling distance. Nope. 150. You know, so it's kind of hard to tell what exactly is going on with this trail, but we'll get to the bottom of it. There we go, so a trailing distance of 500. And for some reason, which let me turn this right here to 0, and I will turn this texture coordinate to 0, and I'll turn this texture coordinate to 1. I think that there's some issues with the way that I'm doing this. Change this back to 0 for now. Let's just see how this right here looks. You guys still with me? I see 4 people watching. I'm curious. Yeah. Oh, it looks like butt. That looks terrible. Horrible. Let me see here. What is my dissolve at? So we got dissolve 1. Say 0. Yeah, that really does look like crap. I gotta be honest. It's not as good as I was hoping it would be. I wonder if I don't know what any of this stuff does particularly. Let's see, what does it say? The number of live trails. Okay, 1. Sheets per trail. That's not very detailed. Render tangents. Oh, render spawn points. Okay. And then let me do size by life, and we'll make it bigger. We'll say 5 by the end of it. And we will also go into, let's see, back into the ribbon and turn off this render spawn points. And I will turn off this distortion. So let's just break these links. And let's see if this right here helps out a bit. Because I'm thinking that perhaps, and so what I'll do is I'll change this coordinate right here specifically to 1. Just to satisfy the requirements for a trail. Okay, so that's not too shabby. It's looking better. That's certainly better. That's more of what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking that maybe these right here need to be 1 as well. I don't want them to be, but I think they need to be. Okay, we'll try this out. And so now let's just do fireball trail. Yeah, because there's like some kind of vertical lines in this. I'm not sure what it is. It's doing that specifically. So I'll tell you what, let's not multiply that either. And we'll just have a static ribbon here. It might be a limitation of ribbons. Look at that, guys. So I guess you can't have panning textures on this right here, but that there is looking exactly like I would think it's supposed to. And so now let me go back here, make sure that, so let me just go ahead and clean up. So we've got this, we've got my dissolve rate, multiplied that, there we go. Now let's do that. And that makes me wonder, is this right here broken too? Yes it is, default value. Let's do that. And so now our fireball thing should actually dissolve properly too inside of this fire trail. Yeah, so that right there is actually dissolving like it's supposed to now, which is good. So we fix that. Okay. Holy shit. Oh my god. It's looking good. Sweet baby Jesus. Look at that. That is most excellent. Let's go ahead and change this like 0.2. There we go, 1. There we go. So we've got that. And now let's see what it looks like in action. Oh my god, ew, what the that is hideous. Horrible. That's horrible. So what is going on? Oh, I'm clicking Discord, not Unreal. Perhaps I need to do local space. We'll see. No, that's absolutely terrible. It's getting there. It is certainly getting there. So we'll just single it out and see if it sticks. Okay. So we've got that. I wonder if I'm not spawning enough particles. So we'll say 50. I'll spawn 50 particles. You see, it's got some kind of jumping issue. Maybe it's because I need initial velocity. Okay, is it because of the way that this is rendered out? 0.5, 5. Okay, we got our dynamic over life. We're going to save this. Perhaps ribbon data. Okay. So 70 sheets per trail. Is that going to fix it? Oh, but notice how it's like glitching around. I'm not sure why it would be glitching around like that. Okay, so let me lower my motion radius to 150 so that we can actually keep track of this thing. Okay, so we've got some issue where the ribbon is squaring off or something. I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay. Let's see here. Max particle count, 75 sheets per trail. 5,000. What's up, Jay? Jay, if you know how to make ribbons work right, what the optimal settings are, let me know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Spawn initial particle, tangent recalculation every time. Nope. Uncheck. Nope. Dead trails. Nope. Yeah, there is some kind of issue going on here. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, so that makes it a bit better, turning off the initial velocity. And so, let me turn off local space again and see what that does. So let's see, so I've got a bunch of little squares. Let's go back here. 50, 1, 50, 1. So turn off everything, turn on other stuff. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Could be my tiling. Yeah, we'll try this. We'll see how it looks. Yeah, still looks like butt. I don't know why. For some reason the ribbon trail is just really not cooperating. What happens if I increase my motion radius again? Oh, nope. Yeah, see that right there? It looks really, really good inside the editor. But it does not work. Wait, what's my spawn rate? Do I have anything bursting? No, nothing's bursting. Do I have like something unrequired that's weird? I don't think so. And so let me turn off dynamic and see if it's something with dynamic. Nope, it doesn't look like anything dynamic is the issue. It seems like the trail is like, it's got like a hitch or something. Let me turn off the trail and see if the I can't tell if the fireball is jittering and if it is a fireball problem. I think that one way we can figure this out is if I bring in my fire trail into the world, and I turn on this, turn this on, turn dynamic back on, and we just move it and we test it. So to me, I'm not 100%. Yeah, for some reason, whenever I move it fast, that is not correct. Let's see here. Yep, I would say that I genuinely don't know, peeps. I don't know why it does that. I genuinely don't know. Let's see. Spawn 50 can be picked. Dynamic. Let me go to my fire trail. Text cord. Let me just clear everything. I'll clean up. We'll make sure that everything is as it's supposed to be. Let me look this up. So you have to attach coordinate expression UV to set the index to 1. Okay. And not so long ago, someone posted in the Discord how to do this better or how to set up their ribbons, but I don't know what the settings were. But I'll just single this out again and see how it looks again. Yeah, it's looking to me like there's some kind of bouncing issue. I wish I could like slow it down, but I don't. Let's see here. So from what we can see, the orb is not the issue. It is quite the pickle, my friends. It is quite the pickle. Yeah, I guess for now I will just have to turn the trail off. That's a shame. Because, I mean, the trail looks really good. But I just don't know, I don't know why it's doing that. Because it looks fine in the editor. See, is there like any kind of thing I'm supposed to add? Huh. Beats me. And we'll just do that, and I'll increase my tiling distance a bit, and we'll try it again. Yeah, see, something's weird because yeah, I think it's some kind of weird bug because I've turned off velocity. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Sometimes things are messed up. So I'm gonna restart Unreal. I'm gonna restart Unreal. Sometimes Cascade just doesn't want to play nice. Any moment now. Today. Let's go. All right. The Great Marsh. Bear with me as Unreal decides to restart. All right, we're back in business. Okay. So, back where we left off, power line's going crazy, yep. RIP. Rest in particles, people. Rest in particles. I'm now lost. I don't know what else to do. I wonder if it's just like the distance it has to cover. No? Here, I'll post it on Discord. And see here, is that even uploading? Here, we'll do after capture tasks, upload to image host, and now maybe I'll get an answer tomorrow on this. All right, and as soon as that's uploaded, I'm going to post it and see if we can figure it out. But for now, we will just disable that. And I guess that there's just one more thing that we'll do to kind of finish up this fireball. Just a second. If I can get this thing to actually load up. Come on. Nope. Not you. Yep, you. Come on. And, okay. Let me post this on Discord. All right. So. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like a velocity issue or what. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words with it. So, let's see. Jenga, fix, spells, fire trail. Let's turn that damn thing off. Yep. So we'll go ahead and save that. And test it just to make sure it went away. Excellent. Okay. And if you can hear a dog, I'm sorry about that. It's a neighbor's dog. So, now let's just create some smoke. I'm going to go to new and 512 backspace. And let me just go ahead and start dabbling around and trying to paint the smoke up. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do it this way. Yeah, the fire does look great. I'm going to grab one of my specialty brushes here. Let's see, which one? There we go. This is it. Ta-da! Brush. Pen pressure. Alright, you got it. Painting smoke has never been easier. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just like, I think that might be a bit too noisy though. And what's going on with that? It's like, whenever I paint, yeah, I don't want scattering. There we go. Yes, I do use a tablet. I have a Wacom. It is the cheapest, the cheapest one you could possibly buy. I think it was like 60 bucks or something. I would love to get like an Intuos Pro or something. So here we go. Now we're just kind of painting in some extra details. And that's a nice fluffy smoke, if you ask me. So let's go ahead and save this out. Photoshop, PNG, textures, smoke. And it looks like I already have a nice smokelet right there. Looks like FXT smoke 01. Okay, and now let's go into Unreal again. And if you want to know what do you call it? If you want to know what brush set I'm using, you can look up this. It's hard to find, but that's what I use for my Photoshop brushes and such. And so, okay, let's move this guy back for our spell casting. And let's go ahead, oh, not Marketplace, jeez. That button is like conveniently placed so that you open something up to buy it. So, okay. Textures, smoke. Bring in my smoke here. I'm going to duplicate my fire trail. So duplicate that. FXM smoke 01A. Okay. And then I'm just going to call this, and let me delete that. What I'll do is delete that. I'll plug this into there. Change this right here to FXT smoke. And from there, I don't want it to be emissive. I want it to be translucent. I want it to be default lit. And so I don't need intensity. I just need to plug it straight into color. There we go. And so then I need to plug in into a base color, remove the emissive portion of it. And I can plug that into emissive as well because I'm going to want to create some highlights on this smoke. So just like this, and come on, let's go. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to single that out. I want to duplicate it because I'm going to use it as a base smoke. And then I'm going to single that out. I'll do FX versus smoke. All right, so just like that. And let's go ahead and do a lifetime of 1.5 to 1. And what is that hard edge? I'm unsure. let's see how it dissolves real quick. Let's actually pull that up a bit. Okay, so looks like we got a hard edge right there. How long have you been watching, Travis? I'm curious to know. Let's see here. So one thing I don't like is I don't like this this little spot right here, because we can see that it's really coming up inside the effect. And so I'm going to go here. I'll just switch my colors around. No, actually I'm going to hit OK there. And I think I'm going to slightly erase this portion right here. Oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. Let me bring on my smoke brush. So something like that. I'm just going to cut that out. I'll cut that portion out too. Oh, nope. Control L. And now, if we fade it away, it fades away smoothly without having such a rough shape going out this way. And so now if I save as, let's save it as my smoke again. Yep, okay. We're going to go back out to this. I'm going to re-import the smoke texture. Save all. And so then, okay, so now we can see that it fades a lot better. I'd say that is definitely favorable to what was going on. Okay, and so now let's single this out and let's go ahead and view it in motion to see how it fades. Okay, I think that's nice. And so now I want to bring this right here to be 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. So actually we'll do like 5 and 1 and 0. And then quickly, say 0.2, I'll go to a deeper color here. And we'll do, say, 20 of these. Oh, duh, I forgot to turn on the rest of the trail. Okay. It's not the most perfect thing ever, and I think that the smoke needs a little bit more love here. Let's see. Nice, man. What time zone are you in? Are you in like the PDT? Something like that, Seattle area? I'm not sure. Okay, back to the fire trail. We've got this size by life. And let's see, expand all. And let's do like 15 to really get that smoke to puff up. And it looks like we're going to need to boost this number as well. And so it looks like 63 particles. It's pretty heavy, but that's all. And I want the bright colors to last a bit longer. So I'll do color over life, and I'll do 15. So just like that. So I'll do 15, and then color over life, 0.5, 0.4. There we go. So let's try that out. I think CST Dallas. Nice. I was in Dallas for a little while. I think that the smoke texture might be a bit too noisy, in my personal opinion. And so, let's see, one of the things we can do is we can just pop in here And we could do a minimum, right? And so we can help reduce some of this noise. Say something like that. That's a really cool effect. And then perhaps we could come in here and filter gallery and sparkle it. So here's what we'll do. We'll see how this right here looks, and then we'll see how the minimized one looks. Yep, okay. Yeah, I definitely think there's too much detail in the smoke too, which is why I'm trying to cut back on it. That's lovable. A bit. But I think that the smoke has too much alpha. It's one of the issues here. 0.2 maybe. So let's try that again. Because we want the actual fire to stand out. So that right there doesn't look too shabby. And one of the things that I think I can do is change the color over life to make it more transparent, and so that mainly the fire is showing, and it looks like the fire turns into the smoke. And so what I can do is say 0 and then do like 0.5, and then we'll make this 0.2, and then at 1 it'll be 0 again. And so then we have that, and from there that should be sufficient. There we go. And so that helps keep our fire nice and visible. And now I think that the color on the smoke is lasting a bit too long. And so I'll say, we'll go back to 0.2, I guess. 0.25 for that. There we go. It's just, the smoke is just ever so subtle. I'm not sure if it shows up good on YouTube. Let me take a peek. Yeah, that's nice. Let me see what it looks like with a higher color over life. Let me see like 1 again. Yeah, I think that alpha is a little bit too high. Now it's the game of what alpha looks good. And then also, I want to reduce the amount of embers a little bit here. Do 125. And then I have my big fireball, and I want to make this a bit bigger as well. And so I'll spawn more than that, I'll say 15. I think that that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Is that there good enough for your projectile tastes? I think that's pretty damn gravy. Ooh, look, pretty stuff. Did my Fisher stuff save? No? Or is it on the other side of the railroad tracks? Oh, here it is. Oh yeah. We did some cool stuff tonight. We made a cool Fisher thing with like some rolling heat waves. Well, the purple thing is an anomaly. Yeah, that right there is my my pride and joy visual. It was built to show what vector aging can do and what using vector fields for your particles can do. Some sales material. Yeah, and Travis, I don't think that you need like a sphere or anything like that. It's all just blueprints and whatnot, you know, just a flat projectile. I mean, a mesh could really like do some good with this, like having some like scrolling stuff. Like, let me just draw it out here. Like, say that we wanted something to like go across something like this. So we wanted like this airflow type fiery stuff around the fireball. Then the sphere would look good like that. But I don't have any modeling thing. So the vector field software, Vector Agent, is $19 a month roughly. I think it's $19.99, and then it's like $129 for an annual license. And so that's that. And we're gonna have a perpetual license again soon. But let's see. Most projectiles I see tend to use a mesh for the projectiles. Yes, they do, but not in this case. And then, except for MOBAs, because, well, don't really need to. Yeah, I mean, you can use the, what do you call it, a mesh if you want to. I just don't have the tools to create a mesh right now. I don't have 3ds Max at my house. And I'm just going to see what this texture looks like the other way with a little bit more detail. Yeah, I think that's nice. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and step forward again. Save that out. But you know, I think I'm probably gonna call this effect done here. It's not like the best thing ever, but it's pretty good. If I move this back, it'll look good. I think the impact might need to be stronger. It's one of the things. Yeah, I'm gonna do something just a second more. I'll do this impact again. And instead I'll make this say 50. And then I'll double the size of this, or maybe 15. And then 30. And 30. And we'll size by life this to be, let's see. Yep, it was nice you joining the stream there, Spencer. I appreciate it. And yeah, I really wanted the ribbon in there because it would have really brought the whole effect together. But I mean, there's not a whole lot that I can do about it. I don't know why it's being a pain. There we go. It's more of a serious impact. And one thing I think I'm going to do before I do anything else is I'm going to erase all of these little things. Let's see. There we go. Channels, red and green. Nope. There we go. We will erase this. Let me just select a new brush. And this right here will help with the effect a bit, because I, in the end, did not like the fact that these little dots were in there. There we go. We'll leave that one there. Need to erase it from the green channel too. I do suppose. Okay. Now the green channel. Oh, what the oh. There we go. Now it's erasing the way it should. Okay. And so let's see. I'll be looking through these two streams for like weeks now to recreate this stuff. I'm glad, man. I just want to help people. I want to make software and do tutorials. That's my dream. And if I can make the lives of our kind easier, VFX artists and technical artists, then I'll be a happy person. So that's what I'm focused on, is trying to make cool tools and make cool tutorials and better myself. Let's see, what did I have that in? Fireball? And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the term "I'm about to monkey," but it's very hot in my room right now. My computer is like full blasting it with the heat rays. Oof. I'm starting to sweat, I think. Doesn't help that the heater's on because it's like 40 degrees outside. Okay. Now I'll just re-import. Oh, here we go. Re-import. And, okay. Should be good. Oh, yeah. And I do wonder what happens if I change this fire trail color to be nearly black. So smoke trail, color over life, 0.05, 0.05, 0.05. So something like that. And then maybe change the alpha to be just a little bit higher, 0.8. How would you go about creating normal maps? That's super easy. We go here. I'll say that I wanted to make a normal map for the smoke. Filter, 3D, generate normal map. Let it load. And I can change my blur, my 3D scale, whatever. Maybe we want to blur it a little bit. Bam. There you go. That's how you create a normal map. Super easy. You can also use like software like Materialize or Substance Designer or whatever else, but easiest thing for me, just filter, 3D, generate normal map, and it'll generate a normal map. We have like details that we can choose, right? We can boost up our details. There's all kinds of different sliders and shit. And so that's it. That's how you generate a normal map. There are other softwares out there that give you like more control, but I don't think you need more control than that was optimal. And so now let's it's really hard to see the smoke. Let me go back here and really boost up this. Now that doesn't look too bad. Maybe I need to boost it up even more though. Let's do like an alpha of 5 or something. Yeah, that's too much. One of the things that I'm not liking about it though is the fact that the fire is so small at the beginning. And so I'll just go here once again and do like 2 and say, what am I going up to? 5 and 7. So I'll do say 5 and 7. And I'll do like 7 and 8. See how this looks. There we go. And now let's move this right here closer and set up that spawn rate. Oh, that was good. I'll do 0.5, and now I guess the last step is just going back into my fireball spell and boosting this number again. And now let's go to my random generator and -2, +2, -4. And now it should arc. Not as much as I had hoped. So I'll go back and say -15 and 5. And now let me just go back up here, timeline. Let me boost that up more on that axis. And let me go back here, event graph, and I'll do -10. I'll do say 15 here. Yeah, it is better, but that's just for the sake of particling. You know, I really want to see a little bit more of that trail though, that smoke. Yeah, it's just like a back and forth between this one. Maybe we'll increase the size of my life to say 20. I think the last thing I want to fix now is just that impact. It's got like this. See, local vector field. I need to boost that up. There we go. There looks a bit better. Let's see, 200, 250. Okay, and local vector field. Gotcha. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's record this. Ta-da! Okay. Alright guys. I'm out of here. I'm done. Hopefully you learned a lot. I'll probably do a tutorial just on the fire and show you how I did that, but it should be in this stream, hopefully. I went quite a while again, and so I hope that YouTube doesn't cut off at 2 hours. But it was fun streaming, and hope you guys enjoyed it. So, good night. Bye-bye.